Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. It is about entrepreneurship, and I was being told that we have to speak about hope. I said, let's make an attempt and see what we can get out of it. So it's a story about two people. That's Ashu and me. We started way back in 1987. Don't bother about the picture on the left-hand side. It is just for representative purpose. Don't break your head who is Ashu in this. Ashu was much worse than as compared to these guys. So these kids are very smart. So we grew up together, and till about 2014, we worked with good brands, big companies, doing very well for ourselves, grew as professionals, grew as individuals, and there was nothing to complain about. But there was something inside us which was telling that we can do better. And instead of growing as individuals, we can create an ecosystem of like-minded people where all of us can grow together and not as individuals. Our story has 5 chapters. When we felt that there is a need to build that ecosystem of people of like-mindedness, we started looking around. And what we found is there is a community of entrepreneurs in India called as small businesses. And we started studying them more seriously. So I'm a Bania, born Sindhi, who are good at numbers, a trained marketeer and a strategist. But I will not throw many statistics on you. I'll just show some stats to you which set the tone right for our journey. So in India, we have about 63 million small companies which are prevailing in a particular size of turnover. 63 million in Indian context is 6.3 crores, contributing about 29% of GDP of India. The same number is 70% in Japan. So we can say, why are we comparing with Japan? Because India has set out a target for being a 5 trillion economy by the end of 2025. And Japan is already that 5 trillion economy. Hence, it just gives us a representative that if we have 63 million small organizations, small enterprises, contributing 29%, similarly for Japan, it is 70%, so imagine what we can do in terms of the opportunity here. We further deep dived because it was very important for us to find the God in details. What we found is, of those 63 million companies, micro, so basically how we define micro is something which is a company which does a turnover of less than 5 crores. They contributed about 92.9%. So you can just imagine 93%, almost 93% of the companies were micro in nature, just doing 5 crores turnover. Small and medium contributed 7%. Listed, the way we call it, big companies, were only about 0.01%. Which means practically 99.9% companies are small in India. And a handful of them are big companies. So, as I said, no more statistics, but 3 important data points to remember. 63 million companies, 99.9 are small, and 0.01 are big of them. But there was one curiosity in our mind. Why is that 99% of them stayed small? Only 0.01% grew. What we did is, we went and spoke to them on the ground. We connected with these small entrepreneurs and spoke to them, why are you not able to grow? You know what? They had 2 common problems. I don't have right people. I don't have money to grow my business. And that's another strange point. 99% of them have a similar problem. Why is that? We further deep dived. We went to some of the campuses and asked them, how are your placements going on? They said, you know what, we are struggling. That's another thing which didn't connect it. Here, there are plenty of companies who are looking for talent. Here, there are people on campuses who are looking for jobs. Why are they not talking to each other? The very reason was, cent% of the people on campus said, we want to be part of the 0.01% of the companies, which is the listed big companies. None of them was looking at these small companies. So opportunity was on the one side of the table, and the job seekers were on the other side of the table. And that made their life more miserable. We also said, since that first problem is established, that why are they facing that crunch of talent? Because people are not interested in joining small companies. Let's look at the second problem. Why are they not getting money? I happened to see an ad which said, 3 hours, car loan. Most of us would have seen that. I said, in that case, if there are so many capital-starved companies, they should be able to get a loan in a jiffy. But that was not happening. And the reason is, if you look at the entire journey of an entrepreneur, there are 3 stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 is called as seed capital, wherein the entrepreneur brings his or her own money. Stage 2 is family and friends. Stage 3 is bank loan. So basically, at the stage 1, you need self-belief to put in your own money. At stage 2, you need some wealthy uncles to be with you. And third stage, you need a collateral. Collateral is basically security. So when we spoke to them, they said, this is a challenge for us. And they were struggling since about almost 15 years to get out of this problem. We said, then if they are not able to cross this stage, how will they get to 4 and 5, which is VC and P? That's not possible. Some of them didn't even knew what is a VC and P. So they said, VC and if we have to get to the VC and P stage, what we will have to do? We said, we also don't know, hence God knows. That's where we got into deeper and understood the typical problem of these 63 million companies is people and finance. We said, this is good enough to commit our careers. The next morning, we both resigned from our jobs and got into it. We went head over heels. Some of our relatives said that these guys have gone crazy. They are quitting their cushy jobs and getting into something that they are not even sure of. But we kept the naysayers at the bay and we focused on what we wanted to do. Basically, 2 problems again. I don't have the right job, right people. I don't have the money to grow. These are the 2 things which we came out from this chapter. And that's where this idea was born. We said, sometimes you have to create something which you have to be part of. You might not get it on the platter. And that's what we started off. We started with a theme called Small Today, Big Tomorrow. The basic idea was, if all the big brands today, if you look at their history, they were small at one point in time. So from that logic, all small today brands have a potential to become big tomorrow. At the seed stage, when we had to invest our own money, it called for a big step. So Pooja and Suhani, my wife and daughter, had to give away their house. So we sold our house to fund our first startup. That's the first step we took, because it sounded logical. Bombay rentals were cheaper than what the cost of capital was. We said, let's do that. And it didn't stop there. Our team stepped up. Anju had to go through so much of pain that her body gave up. She had health issues, but she never let that down. Jyoti invested her father's retirement fund in the business. Sanjay had to go all out, convince his mother, aunts, even father-in-law that, you know what, this business will survive. Why don't you invest? Purva had to wait for about 2 years for her first increment. Nitin was recently married. He had to go through a salary cut. And we thought we have passed through the stage 2. It didn't stop there. Stage 3, the banks came into picture. They said, since you have passed 3 years, now you are eligible for a loan. We said, okay, here are the books. They said, you know what? You need 100% collateral. If you need a loan of 1 crore, you will have to bring a property of 1 crore. This was the time we had to bring another house on the paper. That is Ashish's house. His family house were brought on table. We mortgaged that and we secured a bank loan. And then we realized that yes, this journey is going to be easier now. But we were wrong. It called for more sacrifices. We had the third co-founder joining in, Sagar, who actually put his entire money on stake and merged his business with our entity. And he said, I want to be part of this mission. So we said, we are not the only people who are mad. There are more people in the mission. I spoke to you about campuses. People were not ready to join small businesses. But there were some and few who got inspired by us. Yaman, he put his IIM placement at stake and said, I don't want to take an IIM placement. I want to join this company and be part of this mission. And that inspired us to cross the stage 3. And trust me, this was the front end of the people. There were equal number of people in the back end who were actually routing for us, believing in us, and investing in us. So if I have to name them, Shakir, Avi, Ravi, Priyanka, Khalil, and host of them, all of them believed and they became part of our stakeholders. And that's where we were able to float more and kept on what we were wanted to do. Work with small brands, help them grow, help them make future. But why we all did this? Because we had a hope that one day all of this is going to come back to us again. All our houses, all our family savings, all our commitments, sacrifices, everything will come back to us. And you know what? It did. It not only gave a purpose to the entire team to stick together, it also gave plenty of rewards. Our entire brands that we worked with got a valuation of $12 million very recently, and we were able to scale up to newer heights. As we speak, these brands are achieving newer milestones, opening up new markets for them. By the time we are in the 4th phase of TEDxRambaug, we will have similar brands talking about $100 million. So what we had cut out our role for, we said we will create a template for these small companies so that they can get inspired through and have a platform to come and count on that, yes, I want to be that brand which is small today and will be big tomorrow. We are building this ecosystem wherein we are collaborating with all of these stakeholders so that we can impact at least 500 companies in the near future. Of these 63 million companies, it's a very small number to look at. I hope this story will inspire more people like us so that they pick up this agenda and help these 63 million companies to grow and make it count to the country. So when you look at all of this, one thing is for sure, keep the hope alive. Thank you.